Minister Wang Yi has hailed the unbreakable friendship between China and Zimbabwe. He was speaking after concluding wide-ranging talks with his Zimbabwean counterpart on Sunday evening. CGTN's Farai Mwakutuya reports.
The two countries enjoy a 4-decade-long diplomatic relationship, which both sides are now keen to see enhanced.
We are looking forward to getting to greater heights between Zimbabwe and China.
Zimbabwe's foreign minister was giving an update after bilateral talks with Wang Yi, during which further trade and economic cooperation were high on the agenda.
China and Zimbabweans can see opportunities within each other, which others are not seeing. And we believe that the continuous collaboration of this scenario would enhance the identification of opportunities which avail themselves here in Zimbabwe and also in China. From agriculture to manufacturing to tourism to mining, and specifically even into the financial services sector and into the management of the macroeconomic environment. All these issues have been identified and have been discussed and shared mutually between the two parties.
Wang Yi said China supports Zimbabwe's efforts to uphold its sovereignty and national dignity. He backed calls for the removal of sanctions on Zimbabwe, which have no place in international law and which violate the rights of the country's citizens. He said China and Zimbabwe should stand together, especially in the face of rising unilateralism, Cold War mentality, and political bully tactics.
China and Zimbabwe have an unbreakable relationship. This year, we celebrate the 40th anniversary of diplomatic relations between China and Zimbabwe. Over the past 4 decades, China and Zimbabwe friendship has withstood the big tests and stormy weather, and both sides have stood firmly by this friendship. The most fundamental experience of that is the mutual respect, trust, and support that we have given each other all along.
After the day's hard work, it was time to unwind and toast to a great friendship.
A dinner hosted by Vice President Constantino Chiwenga capped off a fruitful day. On Monday, Wang Yi is due to meet President Emmerson Mnangagwa, the final official engagement of his African tour. Farai Mwakutuya, CGTN, Harare, Zimbabwe.
A second day of protests in Iran has turned violent as anger grows over the government's response to the downing of a Ukrainian jet. Iran's military admitted to mistakenly shooting down the plane last week. Pakistan's foreign minister met with Iran's president in Tehran on Sunday to try to ease tensions. Meanwhile, Ukraine's president says experts are working in Tehran to ensure the truth isn't covered up. Jessica King reports from Kiev.
In Tehran, protesters chanted death to the dictator and called for the resignation of Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei. They held vigils for the victims of flight PS-752. The plane en route to Kiev was shot down shortly after takeoff. Iranian officials say it was a disastrous mistake, following the US killing of an Iranian commander and retaliatory strikes. Meanwhile, Iran lawmakers have denied a cover-up and vowed to investigate the crash. Amid soaring international tensions, the leader of Qatar has arrived in Tehran, calling for peaceful solutions. The country is close to the US, but also has strong ties with Iran. World leaders have called for a full investigation into the disaster, with Canada's Prime Minister saying people are demanding answers and accountability.
We will continue to work with our partners to ensure that a full, transparent investigation is conducted. I want to assure all families and all Canadians we will not rest until there are answers. We will not rest until there is justice and accountability.
In Ukraine, officials say they are investigating possible willful killing and aircraft destruction in their probe of the crash. The president is calling for the bodies of victims to be returned to Ukraine by the end of next week.
Я поверну всіх загиблих.
I will return all the dead to their families. They will be able to say goodbye to them humanely. We honor their memory. All perpetrators will be punished. We will give back to Ukrainians